With the way Breath of the Wild is made, no two players will ever have the same experience, but there are some stages that most players share. If you went through 2 of these stages, you have to subscribe. If not, then tell me in the comments what stage you think I should have added. But first, a word from this video's sponsor. Do you ever just when playing games online, or go to watch your favorite show just for it have to been removed from your country, but for some reason still available in others? Well, if you use Surfshark VPN, those problems can disappear. Surfshark is a VPN service that keeps your data safe when you're online. Think of it like this: if Link is your online data and personal info, then Surfshark is Daruk's protection, keeping you safe while online. But better, because instead of running out after 3 uses, Surfshark lets you activate it on as many devices as you want. But what about... Well, Surfshark can prevent Wi-Fi throttling, so now you can lose games in style. I personally have been using Surfshark and can now watch my favorite region lock shows without having to buy another streaming service. If you use my code LITTLE, you can get 83% off. This is what 83% off looks like. Yeah, that's a lot of discount. I almost forgot to mention that it gives you 3 months free when you use the code in the description. So get yourself better safety while online and download Surfshark VPN. Now back to the video. Only moments after waking up, the sleepyhead is filled with an immense sense of wonder and awe as the camera pans across the massive expanse of Hyrule. They encounter their first enemies and start to enjoy the freedom that they have, like being able to steal from the old man, climb on whatever they want, and go almost wherever they want. They might even get stuck in a shrine or two, not knowing what to do, and they might even think that the Great Plateau is the entire map. The sleepyhead runs into their first guardian, and is shocked when they are obliterated off the face of Hyrule by a stationary purple robot, learning to avoid the purple robots for a very long time, and learning about the weapon durability system and stamina, both of which are very frustrating for this new player. This stage is one of the best because of the sense of wonder that comes with a new discovery around almost every corner. The beginner is a stage that everyone remembers. They have just claimed the paraglider and are now faced with many different decisions. Do I go and try to kill Ganon? Do I just explore this massive map? Or do I listen to the old man and go to Impa? No matter what they choose, they usually end up in Kakariko Village, where they talk to Impa and start to learn more about the conflicts that plague Hyrule. They also get their first horse, a friendship that will last them most of their playthrough, and probably acquire their first pieces of armor. The beginner encounters different colored monsters and learns which ones to avoid. They don't have the best weapons, and their best armor is most likely the champion's tunic that Impa gave them after claiming their first memory, but they don't mind. The beginner has started to develop a love of the game, and has become hooked into Hyrule. The knight now has some pretty decent armor and weapons. They probably have freed at least 1 or 2 divine beasts and are now much more powerful than they used to be, with the lives of many monsters under their belt, besides the Lionel, which for the knight is worse than an encounter with the guardian. Speaking of guardians, the knight has probably learned that they can parry its beams, and can now defeat them, even if it's inconsistent. The knight has some of their map unlocked and truly starts to realize just how massive Hyrule is, even having purchased some of their own real estate. They might have visited the Korok Forest and tried to pull the Master Sword, wondering why they can't even though they have 8 hearts. The knight tries to make more progress on Divine Beasts, but is hindered with their lack of hearts, so they decide that they need to become more powerful. Realizing their necessity for more hearts and to become more powerful, the knight has started the grind phase of the game, where they try to complete as many shrines as they can find, collect as many resources as possible so that they can upgrade their armor, and unlock as much of the map as possible, likely only missing 1 or no Sheikah Towers at all. If they're brave, they might even venture into Hyrule Castle to acquire the Hylian Shield to make combat more easy. They might even try their hand at defeating the fearsome Lionel once more, and probably succeed. At this stage, the player will make the most amount of story progress yet. They unlock the Akala Tech Lab and get the Guardian armor. They also see a massive maze and probably get all 3 pieces of Barbarian armor. They finally get enough hearts and pull the Master Sword, which is another core memory of everyone who's played Breath of the Wild. They have finally gained sufficient strength to continue the main storyline, and what used to be challenging is now very easy. The knight has now freed all Divine Beasts and will now move on to Ganon. Before the hero goes to save Hyrule, they double check everything, gathering more weapons and preparing powerful dishes to aid them in their fight against the ultimate boss. Once they are ready to storm the castle, they do so in style. They have an epic fight against Ganon, where their hard work freeing the divine beast finally pays off. After landing the final blow, the player is relieved. They have done it. They have beat Ganon, and the feeling of accomplishment is close to no other. That is until he respawns as Dark Beast for the ultimate fight, where you meet back up with your horsey friend and seal away the calamity that has plagued Hyrule for 100 years. You have done it. Over 100 hours of playtime all led to this one moment. Final cutscene plays, and you dream about what will happen next. Will we repair Hyrule? Do we travel somewhere else? And then... after the immense shock that fills this player after they realize that beating Ganon does nothing, they might just quit the game. But for most people, they feel like there has to be more. And oh, there is so much more. They start to do side quests, improve their combat, and complete more shrines. At this point, the guard realizes that stamina is also useful, so they start trading hearts. They might also get some really powerful gear. Enemies are even more easy to beat, and the game becomes easy for the guard. They get all the memories back and refight Ganon for a secret cutscene that honestly gives me goosebumps every single time. The guard has well over 200 hours and has mastered almost every aspect of the game. They might have also started to learn some glitches, either to make combat or traveling a lot easier. And start the ambitious quest of getting all the Koroks, which they will either follow through on or stop after 1 to 300. By now they have some of their armor on max level and rarely take damage, but they want more, so they start to hunt for more powerful weapons and resources. But there's a hole in their heart. A hole that can only be filled with a $20 purchase. After getting the DLC, the player is ecstatic to have 2 new quests and a new mode to play. The Trial of the Sword, Champion's Ballad, and Master Mode, all of which are amazing additions to the game. The player might dive straight into Master Mode for the extra challenge that they have been craving, or get scared away by the red loading screen like me. The Trial of the Sword is a fun challenge that forces the player to become more resourceful with how they approach combat, instead of just plowing through enemies with high-level gear. The Champion's Ballad adds a new main quest storyline that fits with the base game almost seamlessly, and with a bittersweet reward, a sick motorcycle that most players will ditch their horses for. The DLC is so good that it feels like a must-have, and after a bit, it's indistinguishable from the normal game. At this stage, the player has done pretty much 99% of what there is to do. Well, besides Koroks. At stage 10, the Sage has mastered pretty much everything there is to master. They have immense knowledge and skill and can beat Lionels effortlessly. They have played through the game multiple times and have completed almost everything that there is to do. The only thing now is to wait for Tears of the Kingdom. They might move on to other games, but they will always remember the amazing experience that was Breath of the Wild. Hey, thank you so much for watching. This video obviously took a ton of time, so if you could subscribe, that'd be much appreciated.